It only took 20 months of trying, but last Sunday, the United States captured the first ever Concacaf Nations League with a 3-2 win over Mexico. Remember that shock 2-0 loss in Toronto to Canada? Or Weston McKennie scoring a hat-trick in 13 minutes against Cuba? Those moments were actually a part of this tournament, and they were almost 2 years ago. Nevertheless, Greg Berhalter has his first trophy as head coach of the United States men's national team. In a fact that may be forgotten due to the sheer craziness of the final, on Thursday, June 3rd, the United States grinded out a tough 1-0 win with a goal scored by Jordan Sibachu against a Honduras side who spent more time on their back than a woman from the No Jumper podcast. No, not that one. These two. Now it has been a few days, so let's run through some of the key moments of this final. In just the first minute, U.S. defender Mark McKenzie kindly gives the ball away to Tecatito Corona in his own box, and he finishes it to give Mexico a 1-0 lead. And they could have had a second moments later if Hector Moreno's goal wasn't called back for offside. There would be no game in today's world without VAR, and, unfortunately, it was not the only time it was used during the match, but this time it looked as if it was the correct decision. After the disallowed goal, the United States seemed to find their feet in the match, as just moments after the restart, Weston McKennie's header off the post was turned in by wonder kid Gio Reyna. Chalk up a few saves by each goalkeeper, and that's how we got to the half, all level at 1. The next real twist in the match came when Zach Steffen was forced off with an injury, and number 2 goalkeeper Ethan Horvath was forced in. Then Mexican youth star / Real Betis benchwarmer Diego Lainez came in and absolutely violated Tim Ream.
You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a...
If there was a violation, personally, I wouldn't have it.
Then the aforementioned Lainez struck a shot into the bottom corner to make it 2-1 Mexico in the 78th minute. After Lainez's goal, the United States went on the attack again, and just moments later, Weston McKennie rose above the rest and headed in a goal off another corner kick to make it 2-2. McKennie's goal forced extra time, and that's when shit really hit the fan. First, in the 107th minute, Christian Pulisic is tripped in the box and the referee waves it away. But then, after consulting VAR, he awards a spot kick 7 minutes after the alleged foul. Pulisic then proceeded to put the penalty top bins and give the U.S. a 3-2 lead. The U.S. seemed to be on its way to the trophy until, in the 118th minute, the ball seemed to strike the arm of Mark McKenzie in the box. After the Mexican players surrounded the referee, he then consulted VAR, which led to a penalty kick awarded to Mexico. But then substitute goalkeeper Ethan Horvath came in and made the absolute biggest save of his life, denying Andres Guardado from the spot to keep the game at 3-2 to the U.S. After the penalty miss, things got a little out of hand, as this picture might suggest. Mexico fans even began to assault their own players. Mexican players trying to fight and idiot fans couldn't stop the U.S.'s party as they won the trophy after the longest amount of added time I've ever seen. What does this win mean for Greg Berhalter? Honestly, pretty much everything. He hadn't won a big game until this moment, and it couldn't have come at a better time. However, one fact that many people care to not mention is that we did not score a goal from open play in this game, and that the U.S. was probably just bailed out by their star players. Goalkeeper Zach Steffen, 6.5 out of 10. Zach Steffen made some solid saves in the first half and at the start of the second half before going out with an injury, so I feel like that's fair. Right center back Mark McKenzie, 4.5 out of 10. Despite making 2 huge mistakes, the handball in the box and the turnover that led to the first goal, Mark McKenzie did okay other than those 2 blemishes, but with those 2 big mistakes, I can only give him a 4.5. Center back John Brooks, 8 out of 10. John Brooks was the calming presence at the back the United States needed in this game. He played absolutely incredible on the ball and off the ball, creating little time and space for his opponents and being calm and making an easy pass every time he got the ball. Left center back Tim Ream, 3.5 out of 10. This was probably the worst game of Tim Ream's international career, and it was a pretty horrific performance. He got toasted all night long by first Ariel Antuna and then Diego Lainez, which led to the second Mexico goal, shortly after he was then subbed off, and it made a ton of sense. Left wing back Serginho Dest, 5 out of 10. Not a great performance from Serginho Dest. He really didn't offer that much on the ball. He struggled a lot in tight spaces and couldn't create that much, so He was eventually subbed out in the 62nd minute for Tim Weah as the US shifted their formation, and it worked. Right wing back DeAndre Yedlin, 7.5 out of 10. Yedlin had a great performance in this game, actually. Many were surprised to see him in the starting 11, including myself, but he justified Greg Berhalter's selection with his pace and defending ability, doing a great job defending Mexican attackers all night long. He did offer pretty much nothing going forward, but he defended really well, so 7.5 out of 10. Central midfielder Kellen Acosta, 7.5 out of 10. Acosta actually played pretty well. For a player that's hated by a lot of USMNT fans, he may have justified his squad selection with this performance. He played solidly in the middle and then switched to left back at the end of the game and in extra time and did honestly pretty well. Central midfielder Weston McKennie, 8 out of 10. McKennie is one of the U.S.'s best players, and he showed it in this match as he was a force all night long. He was going forward, coming back, and doing pretty much everything on the field. He scored a goal, set up a goal, and had pretty much everything under control in the middle of the park. Gio Reyna, 8.5 out of 10. He played right wing in this match and was probably the U.S.'s most creative player all night. He was going forward and even helped defend a little bit and created the U.S.'s second goal with an assist and scored the United States' first goal. He was the U.S.'s best player all night, 8.5 out of 10. Left wing Christian Pulisic, 6.5 out of 10. Not the best game from Christian Pulisic. He went sleeping for large portions of the match, but when the stakes were at their highest, he stepped up and buried the penalty. So 6.5 out of 10 is fair, and you can't be too critical on someone who scores the game-winning goal. Striker Josh Sargent, 6 out of 10. I might be a bit generous with this rating as Josh Sargent really didn't do too much throughout the entire match, but I thought he did a lot actually away from the ball where he was defending a lot. And I've been saying this a lot recently, but this system that Berhalter wants to play is making him do way too much work. Goalkeeper Ethan Horvath, 10 out of 10. I had no expectations of actually making a video about this game, and more talking about Ethan Horvath. He was absolutely tremendous, making key saves in normal time, extra time, and saving the penalty that kept the match intact for the U.S. Tim Weah, 7.5 out of 10. Coming in for Serginho Dest in around the 60th minute, Tim Weah actually helped the U.S. flip the match. He used his athletic ability and pace to stretch the Mexican defense several times, and although his touch let him down in some moments, I thought he did pretty well when coming in. Tyler Adams, 8 out of 10. Tyler Adams is the most important player on the USMNT. There, I said it. Tyler Adams entered this game injured, and the former New York Red Bulls homegrown player did a tremendous job protecting the back line throughout extra time. He forced all the attacks to come from the wide areas, while in the first half, while other people were protecting the back line, attacks were coming straight down our throat. Sebastian Lletget, 6 out of 10. Lletget entered the game at the same time as Tyler Adams, and honestly didn't really do a whole lot, but helped the U.S. kill the game when they were up 3-2, so can't be too harsh on him, can't be too great on him. I feel like 6 out of 10 is pretty fair. Jordan Siebatcheu, 5.5 out of 10. Siebatcheu came into the match for Josh Sargent and, again, wasn't that impressive. He had some nice touches and made some nice runs, but never really got a payoff or got a pass to finish or anything like that. So 5.5 out of 10. Reggie Cannon, 7 out of 10. Reggie Cannon entered the game in extra time, coming in for DeAndre Yedlin, and pretty much was doing the same thing DeAndre Yedlin did, except added a bit of offense. He did pretty well defensively and was even involved in the play that ended up creating a penalty kick for the United States in extra time. So he did pretty well and offered a little going forward, so 7 out of 10 is pretty good. When we look back at this game in a couple years, all it'll say is a 3-2 win for the U.S. against Mexico. And the U.S. won the Concacaf Nations League because of it. However, there was so much nonsense that took place in this game that it might be one of the best games I've ever watched. There will only be one ever first winner of the Concacaf Nations League, and it's the United States. These are the wins that the United States seem to put together to become a major soccer force again, or maybe just for the first time. Anyway, that's all we have for today's video. If you like what you watched, please leave a like, drop a comment, and click subscribe with notifications on. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.